Hey y'all, it's Pranithia from Everyday Kingdom Living. And here we have guided conversations. We talk about real life, real pace, real faith, and real growth. And please know, anytime that you see me sitting on this couch, just know we're about to have a real conversation. Okay? So let me tell you what's going on. Last week, we went on this journey. We were talking about moving at the pace that God set for us. And that pace meant moving slower, rushing, we found out takes us out of alignment. And then when we start to honor the pace that God sets for us, doors start to open. So this week, I want to show you guys how to take that pace that we set for ourselves and put the plan on paper. Hence the title, Don't Rush. We're creating our own plan because the plan that people have for us is not always the plan that is best for us, but the plan that God has for us always works out. Amen to that? All right, so let's get to it. So the first thing I want to show y'all is, when y'all take a look at this footage with me, because y'all gonna see this footage being montaged in here. One of the points that I realized, because as I was creating my life in this transformation process that God was showing me and taking me through in 2025, one of the things I realized, even though I was an avid planner, y'all, one of the things I realized was that I had less anxiety, I had less stress. And the reason why I had less anxiety and less stress is because I was using that time to plan out certain aspects of my life. And in the Bible, it says without a plan, people perish. Without a vision, people perish. And so when God showed me the vision for my life, it made sense. Everything fell into place and I realized, oh, this is why I used to have a whole bunch of journals and planners. But that's beside the point. Today, I want to show you what it looks like to walk from a 10-year plan all the way down to a daily plan for your life. Because once you start structuring your day and you start figuring out where you have like these gaps in time that you can use to do other things, then you start to fill them with the things that God has for you. You can start to fill them with things that will push you into the version of yourself that you see. You know, we have this vision for our lives, and my goal is to help everybody access who God called them to be. So we're going to get started. The first thing you're going to see in here is that 10-year plan. Yes, I said it. I know it's hard to think 10 years out from today, but like I said, we have to have a vision or everything will perish. The reason why it's so important to start as far out as you can envision is because you can backtrack. Wealthy people, they backtrack. They say projections for 10 years out. And then are farther, however far they can go. They look at these projections for years. And then you base everything that you are doing in your life off of that 10-year projection. And you just backtrack. You say, in 10 years, I want this. In 5 years, I got to do this to get to that 10-year point. And then I go back by a year. So in 1 year, I need to do all of this to get to this 5 year, to get to this 10-year. And then because you have that big 10-year vision, now you're able to see step by step where you need to go, what you need to do, who you need to talk to, what kind of money you need to be making. You feel me? All right, so take a look at this 10-year plan. On there, we got things like saving $500,000 for retirement. This is by year 2036. So imagine this woman named Andrea. She is 42 years old. She has 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Her oldest is 17, her youngest is 7. And in her journey, on her walk, in her planning, she has decided that she is ready to transform her entire life. She's tired of doing the same thing. She's tired of going around the same carousel. She is ready for change. I can identify with Andrea. I know some of you can identify with Andrea. And we want to make sure that our lives reflect the person that we see. So with that in mind, we have these goals here. Some of these goals are save $500,000 for retirement, pay off a home, purchase a camper, because Andrea loves to travel. So in order to do that 10-year plan, we have to decide, okay, how can I get there? If I want to save $500,000 for retirement, I need to save $250,000 by January. And notice, when she makes that point, she puts the money out there to the T, and she knows how much she needs to make. When we start with the big vision, small steps follow, which brings me to the 5-year plan. All right, take a look at the 5-year plan. Y'all see it? All right, with that 5-year plan, that takes us from here to 2031. So Andrea said for number 1, I need to establish and maintain a $25,000 per year savings rhythm to save $125K by 2031, because that is her goal, getting her closer and closer to that $500,000 for retirement. Her second goal was to make sure that she paid off her house. In order to do that, she has $37,500, you can see it, to pay down this goal. Each time, these plans bounce off of one another. They trickle down into smaller and smaller, more digestible steps. That's the thing. Make these steps digestible for you. Make it to where it works for you, where you can see yourself actually doing these things. Now, these goals that Andrea has, like I said, Andrea's 42, but you may be 18 and a single mom. You may be 25 and a single mom. Whatever your age is, really, at this point, it only matters because of the number of responsibilities you may have. But if your responsibilities are, it's just me and my kid, and I have an apartment, I have a car, and that's it, a job, or I'm still living with my parents, raising my kid, like whatever your situation is, that's the only thing that's going to change. But when it comes down to projecting your future, that's available to all of us. When it comes down to making the decision to transform, that is for all of us. You do not have to take what's happening in your life and say, well, this is as far as I can go. No, you pull the reins back. You say, I know what my vision is for myself and my family. I know where I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, even 1 year from today. Matter of fact, I do you one better. Tomorrow. I want things to change in my life starting tomorrow. So what do? You start planning. You start planning. That brings me to the 1-year plan. In the 1-year plan, we're looking at next year. Right now, it is February of 2026. We're going into next year, into 2027. And for Andrea, in order for her to get to that $500K goal that she has for retirement, she has to start with a retirement fund that has $25K in it. Look how far away that $500K is versus the $25K she can save right now. And to do that, she needs to save $2,083 per month. Make it doable. If we break it down even more, weekly, on a weekly basis to hit all her goals, she either needs to hit them individually, which you'll see, $520.75 for retirement, $156.25 for a home, and $31.25 to save towards a camper. Altogether, every week, Andrea needs to set aside $708.25. So we're making this digestible. We are not trying to be overwhelmed by planning our future. And just think about it. It can get overwhelming. Yes. It can be overwhelming to see yourself from where you are now to where you could go. But if that's you, I want you to go back to my videos in January and watch the one where it says plan your vision board with me. That right there will give you the goals, the incentive, the drive, the reason why. And I want, when you make that vision board, you should have made that why so big that making a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 1-year plan, it sets you up for success. It sets you up to reach the goals that you put on that vision board and on that prayer board. Because that's all this is. You're taking what you put on that prayer board in January and you're saying, I'm putting it into actual steps that I can achieve, that I can adhere to, that I can remain committed to get done for my life. Okay? So we're going to go into next our time blocking. And the reason why we block off time, why it's so important to block off time, is because you want to see what minutes, what amount of time in a day you have available to do things for yourself. And that could be anything from resting more, self-care, from going on like outings by yourself, to blocking off that time to pray, to exercise, whatever that vision board was, whatever was on your prayer board, those things are able to be accomplished in the empty spaces on this time block schedule. So hear me out. Time blocking. Y'all can see the picture right up there. On Mondays, this is Andrea's schedule that she has for her family. On Mondays, we see Andrea blocked off pretty much the times that she sleeps. They're all pink. So Andrea goes to sleep at about 10 p.m. That means her kids are down, she's sleeping, everybody's resting. And she decided before she wrote all this in, between 5:30 and 6 a.m., that's where she had that free space, that quiet time. And then at 6:30, everybody wakes up. At 7:30, there's breakfast. At 8, she's dropping her kids off at school. And from 9 a.m. to about 2:30, 3 o'clock p.m., she's working. Now, some of us may work 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts. Whatever that looks like for you, print out this time blocking paper and put it on there. Get your highlighters. Y'all see my highlighters. Get your pens. Make this fun, because once you start realizing where you actually have that free time, then you can start filling that in with things like Andrea put. She put pray, journal, exercise, work on her side business, read, practice a new language, drink her tea. Do y'all know how hard it is to drink tea in the morning in the quiet before anybody bothers you, before your day gets started? It can be hard when you're a single mama. It can be hard when you're doing this by yourself to find the time to dedicate to yourself. And the more kids you have, the more challenging it can be sometimes. But I want you to use time blocking to help you find that time, to help you discover where that is. You might not be able to wake up early in the morning and drink tea, but you could drink it after they go to bed. You might not be able to do it when they go to bed, but you can do it in the middle of the afternoon. Even if you're on break at your job is your candlelight journal tea time. I'm just saying. So anyway, Andrea looked at her schedule. Andrea figured out where she had space. When the kids go with their dads on Saturdays, right there, you can see it on her time block schedule. Andrea pretty much got a free Saturday all to herself. Instead of spending that time sleeping, Andrea can dedicate space to sleep and take a nap. But she can also dedicate time to building her business, building her brand, reading those books, go and play tennis, go and swim at the gym, using that free gym membership that probably comes with a healthcare plan or with her job. You see what I'm saying? When we sit down and decide, I'm going to structure my day to revolve around me, not me revolving around my day, now we take that control back. Now we show our day who the big boss is, and our day starts to work for us, just like our money. But we're going to talk about that in another video. Anyway, so then we get down to this monthly plan, because now we got our time blocks. Now we got to make our monthly plan. In our monthly plan, you want to put down everything that is pulling at your life, everything that you're committed to, put it all on a monthly planner. Now, I have several monthly planners because I use them most of all for my business, to pay my bills for my personal and my business. So I put all my bills on a monthly planner so I know their due date and their amount. But that's for a money video. This is about our time. When we start putting our things that we're committed to on a monthly planner or calendar, we can see where our time is being devoted to, how often we're using our time to this, and then we can learn whether or not we need to shift gears, make changes, because sometimes we do. Sometimes God is calling us to make a change, and the only way we can recognize it is when we write it down on paper. Write the vision, make it plain, so those that see it here can run with it. Exactly. All right, so on her monthly planner, you can see it in the video, she has her mortgage on here, electricity, when she orders her grocery, lunch with a friend, spa day she added because February 14th is Valentine's Day. And guess what, single mamas? Treat yourself to something. The day y'all watch this video, on that Saturday is Valentine's Day. Treat yourself, buy yourself some flowers, polish your nails, take a bubble bath with candles. If you got your kids home, would you tell your kids, look, mommy need 10 minutes. Y'all do whatever y'all need to do to survive. I'll be right back. and you go in that bathroom, lock that door, light those candles, put on your music, and enjoy yourself. Wild tangent, your children will learn how to do that for themselves as well. And they will learn to respect that time because they know this is mama's time. Mama is dedicating this for herself and she deserves it. And then the atmosphere of your house starts to shift and your kids start to learn how to take care of themselves as well. My 6-year-old, she rests. She knows how to rest. She knows how to just kind of lay down on the couch, put a blanket over, and just relax for a little while. She'll even fall asleep and take a nap. And you know how hard it is to get kids to take naps? She does it voluntarily because she realized that if I'm well rested, I can have more fun in my day. If I'm well rested, then I can get more things accomplished. My 6-year-old, I taught her that. She saw me do it. So she learned it and realized that makes sense. Let me rest too. My 6-year-old drinks tea with me. She just suddenly was like, Mom, I want tea. And it became my little thing, you know? So anyway, back to this monthly calendar. I can go on all day. Anyway, Andrea has dance, football with her kids. Every Wednesday, every Thursday, she's out the door. When you start putting this down on a monthly planner, you start to see for yourself where your time is free, where your time is being pulled to, what commitments you have, and then you adjust accordingly. Which brings me to our daily planner, the last one. On here, now that we know what we're doing for the month, now that we know where our free time is, we can start putting that on our schedule. So Andrea made a daily schedule. This was for February 4th, 2026, a Wednesday. Her focus, you can see in the picture, she's seeking clarity about her 10-year plan because we're doing this today. So as of planning our lives out today using the daily planner, we want to make our focus something tangible, something that is actually happening for us. And one of those things is seeking God about what you want us to do in 10 years. We have our own desires of our heart, which God gave us, but we need to seek his face about it too. If you walk with me, do that. Then she put her to-do list. She got to get dance tights for her girls. She got to pick up dinner, pause Disney Plus. Y'all know we don't waste money over here at Everyday Kingdom Living. Anyway, she put that to-do list there. And then she put her schedule. So we took the time block schedule that we made. We put it on this actual timeline schedule. And at those specific times, these are the times I get things done. So notice, because Andrea found out using her time block schedule that she has between 5:30 and roughly 6 a.m., 6:30 to pray and exercise, she does it before the kids get up. Now, being committed to something and being disciplined enough to get it done, we're going to cross that bridge because we could write it down and then not actually feel the drive to do it because we're so exhausted. But because we're putting the times that we're going to sleep, because we're putting the times that we're going to be awake, because we're putting our commitments on paper, now it encourages us, it motivates us to use our time for ourselves, to use our time in a way that benefits ourselves and benefits our family. Because remember, once you start structuring your time to work for you, then your whole family's time begins to structure and take structure as well. All right, so that's all I wanted to share with y'all because I want y'all to know that putting things in time blocks, putting things on a schedule, planning your life out, it takes the pressure off. Discipline is right up there with being a disciple. And when you start disciplining your life to accomplish the vision, you are discipling, you are stewarding, you are showing your family that, hey, when we plan, we will not fail to the degree that maybe we used to. We will not worry. We will not have any anxiety. There won't be any pressure. We're eliminating a lot of things because we wrote down the plan. We wrote down the vision and we made it plain. And when you plan according to the pace that God set for you, when you plan according to the alignment that God has called you into, you feel relief, not restriction. And it becomes confidence instead of guilt. These things start to shift in you and things start to change for your life. So I want you to remember this right here. When I start planning my life and writing down the vision and making it plain, everything else will line up according to what God has for me and my vision, for me and my family. That's it. Write it down, make it plain. So next week, y'all, we in for a treat. We in for a treat because we found, now that we've done this, when you go sit down this week and you print out these planners and you start filling things in, I'm going to show you next week what to do with that free time. And we're going to learn to do it without guilt, without pressure, because God does not function like that. God does not put the pressure cooker on us like that. He wants us to move at his pace. And remember, we said his pace is slower than the one we've probably given ourselves. His pace does not want us to rush because it'll take us out of alignment. So whatever that pace looks like for you, whether it's fast, slow, or in between, we're going to learn how to use that free space to accomplish that vision. All right? So I'll see y'all next time. Bye. In 2025, God gave me the blueprint. But in 2026, I'm walking single moms through it.